This is Value After Hours. I'm Tobias Carlisle. We got the crew back together. We got the band here. Billy's in town with Jake Taylor, Bill Brewster. What's happening, fellas? Season's greetings. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy
Merry,
Hanukkah.
Season's greetings indeed.
Merry Christmas, boys.
Shout out to the listeners in Australia, 4:30 a.m. We appreciate you.
Wow. That's dedication.
I'll bet that we'll see some people on. There's usually a few. There's a few stalwarts who come on.
Where are people right now?
You got to give
Let's
them a
do the
chance
roll
to,
call.
to file in there.
Oh, they should be here on time.
Those of you who can't see Bill right now, he's wearing a full Christmas suit at the moment.
Suited and booted.
It is quite impressive. He combed his hair, like he showed up today.
I do have a golf shirt on though, under all this.
Don't ruin the mystique.
It's fair. People don't want to see what's under that.
We're going to be eating a little bit of crow today, and then we're going to immediately forget that and make some new predictions for next year.
Yeah.
It's the only way to do it.
That's the way to do it. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to just want to do impression? What happened this year? Just before we get the report card, let's just talk about our feelings. How do you feel you went this year?
How's your personal vibe?
Yeah, the vibe.
I've had better vibes in different years. But 2022 had worse vibes than 2023 for me.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was
down
super
25% at one point there. I guess there's a little relief rally towards the end of 2022 too.
Everyone was super bearish coming into 23. I mean, that was the general feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Still don't love going to the grocery store, but going to the gas pump's easier, so that's nice.
I recorded a feeling about a year ago, and I went back and looked at it just for fun, and it was about the market, and I gave it a 1 out of 10 feeling, and I said that I was rather bearish, and that I thought that perhaps that final 1/3 leg where 2/3 of the pain shows up, as has kind of been the historical norm, was on deck, and I could not have been more wrong about that.
I would have said that too.
Well, you did say that.
That sounds exactly like what I said.
Yeah, I think that in certain areas that 1/3 leg did come though.
That leg went up your rear end if you were a small cap.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think small cap had a great year to speak of.
Smalls got punished. I don't know if it was, So I did this thing where I just went and looked at every rebalance that I've done. And basically the portfolio doesn't actually move around that much. Just one thing that really stood out was the market cap. It came in so much. So my average market cap at the end of 2021 was 26 billion. Oh, sorry, my median, because I did it median. And I took the average, and the average was such a big change. But it could be swayed by one big stock like Meta or something like that. So I did the median. The median market cap has come in from 26 billion to 5 billion, which is that's a huge move. I don't know what that means. Just maybe the smalls are cheap, or the cheapness is in the smalls.
Did it go from 25 to 5 while you were owning it?
Well, it's cross rebalances.
Just kidding.
The smalls got punished.
Yeah, it was. I think October was the low for smalls, but maybe I'm off on that.
I saw one stat that was the unprofitable businesses were back to rallying again in this year. So it was, we like to joke and call it a shitco rally, but that might actually been somewhat true.
Well, the shitco rally hit my little shitty companies, so that's true. NASDAQ 100 surges back to its all-time highs previously reached on November 22, 2021.
We're back, baby!
Rewriting the history books with a 53% year-to-date rally, matching 2009's full return. Strongest performance since the tech boom of 99. That's from Jason Raznick.
Wow.
Here's another one. There's something crazy went on in the markets last week. I'm like, Wednesday, Thursday, giant kind of moves up.
Yeah.
I was following, I listened to Powell. I didn't know that it was that dovish, but obviously I wasn't listening as closely as I should have been. the S&P 500 ETF SPY saw the single biggest, or its biggest single day flow on record at 20.8 billion. And that was, and then the very next day it had a $10 billion flow, which was its second biggest flow ever, the day before being the biggest flow.
Only
Like
topped
35
by
billion.
Tesla's flows for that day.
It's crazy.
It is pretty wild. I mean, everybody's. Does it feel like everyone's kind of all on the same side of the boat right now?
Yes.
Loaded
I don't
question.
know.
Bill, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much of these. I don't know how much of these flows is. I'd need to see like as a percentage of total money or something like that. Like I don't know how much is just short-term capital that leverages itself and sort of presses into a bet, and it's the market saying like, okay, multiples should have been here. Now that the Fed sounds a little bit more dovish, multiples need to be pushed higher. So like I don't know. I don't know the short-term stuff. I have no
Could
idea.
be rebalancing too. Could be just rebalancing. That's probably the real answer. It's not particularly outstanding as a proportion of total assets. It's just that they've been, they're offside because they're rebalancing towards SPY. Well, you'd think you'd be rebalancing away after a year like that, but I don't know.
I mean, some of these stocks, this stuff's crazy. I mean, we're back to crazy.
I knew he could do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it would happen so quickly.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't get to spend a lot of time ever in like crazy cheap land either.
Like fucking Affirm is a BNPL company. Okay. I mean, that used to be credit. Maybe it's not. Maybe buy now, pay later is not credit. But 1.7 billion of revenue. It's a $15 billion market cap. That's crazy. I mean, maybe it'll work. I feel like we're saying the same thing that we were saying a while back. I mean, in 2021, it was an $18 billion company. I guess you think long enough, and this is the drawdown. You're right. You got your long duration asset. You get your drawdown. You come back. Everything's great. It'll grow to infinity.
That seems a little far-fetched.
I don't know.
To me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm making a joke about. I think didn't Farfetch get taken under? Somebody bought it, and I think the equity's going to zero.
Yeah, smart people pitched Farfetch. Really smart, but alas.
Let me give a shout out to the crew, fellas. Let me just do the rounds.
Okay,
and then we can start getting our report card for the year.
Oh boy.
Toronto, Queenstown. Good effort, Queenstown. No pants Vance up bright and early, or maybe coming in from the night before. Santa Domingo, what's up? Miami, yeah. Pettitikva and Isval. Brandon, Mississippi. Norberg, Valparaiso. Wakanda. Winnipeg.
Forever.
Merthyr, Tidful, South Wales. That's a hard one. Toronto, Tallahassee. Bangalore, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Nashville. Napolia, Greece. Nice. That sounds nice this time of year. Melbourne, Florida. Not Melbourne. Victoria.
East Coast.
Someone gave us a nice tip. Thanks.
Wow, Christmas
Omniscient
tips.
Cat.
Just the tip.
Ontario. Germany. I think that's all. Thanks, fellas. We appreciate you dialing in.
Indeed. So shall we
just before you do, let me just say
85%
of economists polled last year thought we'd be in a recession right now. Those poor fools.
Yeah.
Imagine getting it that wrong.
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah. Well, so far we have escaped.
It turns out it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future.
Indeed.
Sometimes I find it hard to even piece together the past.
I don't even know what's going on now.
That's right.
JT, you want to hit us with our go through what we said would happen. Embarrass
Yes.
us.
So as a little reminder, this is these are pulled from Jason Zweig of Wall Street Journal. He has a bias buster quiz, and I haven't seen if he's putting it out yet again for this year. I hope he usually does. So when he does, I'll retweet it again. But and actually, you can find this bias buster quiz as a checklist inside of Journalytic. That's where I recorded it. And so just to go backwards and set the context, we did this approximately a year ago. And the idea was to put forward what you thought was going to be or what you thought were going to be the numbers for different kind of big, asset class numbers, returns, things like that. And so without further preamble, our first one is the closing value of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And for reference, it was at 33,020 when we took the poll. Toby came in with 36,000, so he had an up year. Congrats on that. Bill came in at 31,200, so he was a little bearish. I came in at 29,500, so I was the most bearish. The actual, when I looked this morning, was 37,465. So Toby wins that one. He wasn't too far off.
Made myself.
But really, we all win.
Like a stands at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Toby, if you remember back through his numbers, you'll see that they're sort of nonsensical and that they don't really imply much of a worldview, because they're all over
I don't
the
think
place.
mine do either, to be fair.
All right, question number 2. What will be the total return of the S&P 500 over the next year? We have Toby coming in at plus 9%, Bill minus 7%, and
What a horrible
Jake
prediction.
at minus 15%. Actual, let's call it plus 24%. Wah, wah.
Good for the S&P.
Yeah.
Good for us.
Strong. We're back, baby. So obviously TC with another W there. What will be the yield on the 10-year US Treasury in 1 year? For reference, that was a 3.79% when we did that, which actually kind of surprised me as low, doesn't it? Low, just a touch.
That was where it was when we did it, 3.75. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
7.9, but yeah.
7.9. That was up a little bit then from up quite a lot.
Yeah. We have Bill coming in with a 2.5%. All right, so he was back to ready to party. Toby coming in at 6%. So that's pretty heavy. And I came in at 4.5%. So I was up a little bit. Actual answer 3.91%.
Wow.
So I'm taking that one.
I don't know that I was ready to party with my interest rate prediction. If you have the market down and interest rates down, I was actually not partying in my head.
Okay, so you were at a Fed emergency panic rate cut 2.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an emergency panic, but yes, I thought we would be in a recession and cutting.
Got it. That's
This is that part on the golf scorecard.
But the stupid thing is the market is going to bounce before the recession's here. But anyway, whatever. Keep going.
All right. What will the annual rate of inflation be? For reference, it was 7.1 when we ticked a year ago. Bill coming in at 3.2%. Toby with a negative 0.1%. I don't understand that one. And then, yeah, it's full deflation. He's in the Great Depression. And I said 6%. I thought maybe coming in some. Actual, if you believe the BLS CPI numbers, at 3.1%.
Yeah, Billy's got that one.
BLS is
news.
Obviously not been to the grocery store recently. And next up,
news.
But seriously though, like if you did go through and look at your cart buying groceries, there's no 3.1. Come on, don't tell me that. But I digress. What will be the price of Bitcoin in 1 year? This is interesting. For reference, it was $16,679 on the date, and Bill with a $25,000 call, Toby with $2,000 call. I said 14,000. Actual 42,590.
Wow, good for Bitcoin. Good for the Bitcoin people.
Yeah. So Bill gets the W there, although barely, I would say.
That's like winning on The Price is Right.
Yeah, exactly. You bet $1 basically. What would be the price of gold in 1 year? For reference, it was $1,839 per ounce, and we have Bill coming in at 1,300. Not sure what
not great, not great,
sure
Bob.
what the theory was
not
there.
great, Bob.
Toby's in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome at 3,750. And then I said 2,200, and the actual
JT
last I looked was 2,057. So yeah, I'll chalk that one up. And then
is that 2 each? Is that the running score 2 each so far?
That's correct. If you've been following along at home. Price of crude oil in 1 year. Interesting. Reference, it was $79.23 per barrel. Bill came in at 75. Toby said 200. Again, we're beyond
motivated
Thunderdome.
Reasoning.
Yeah. I said 115.
Billy's
Obviously
got that one.
Well, I had inflation quite a bit higher, so I was thinking that oil might have been the reason. Also, I didn't anticipate that the U.S. would be like a huge producer of oil relative to the rest of the world. But actual today, 37.40 last time I looked. So Bill actually almost right on the dot. And final one.
73.40.
Hey, what was that oil? What did you say? 37?
No, it's not 37. It was a misspeak.
73.40.
Yeah.
73.
You said 37. You had a transposition error in your.
My bad. I had a dyslexia.
It's okay. You're carrying the program, Jake. You're allowed to make a mistake.
All right. Last item. What will be the best performing major financial asset over the next year? Bill came in with US small cap junk debt. Toby, EM small value. I said energy. That was my 115 oil, obviously leaking into that. And the correct answer, kind of ignoring Bitcoin, if you will.
Can't ignore Bitcoin.
Well,
can't do it.
What?
Might want to, can't do it.
Major financial asset.
Just saying. Anyway, what is it?
All right. US tech, the Qs.
Good for the Qs.
Plus
it's good
33%.
to see those guys win one. Every now and then.
Good
I like
for
to
the
see
Qs.
Yeah, a lot of struggle there, but they managed to really grind it out.
Almost back to all-time highs. Wow. I mean, back to all-time highs.
So plus 33% through November. That's a little bit truncated, but it's kind of hard to find sector information that's totally year to date. So I'm giving no one a score for that one. None of us were even in the ballpark. So final score: Toby 2, Jake 2, Billy Brewster 3.
Congrats, Billy.
Congrats, Bill.
Monkeys throwing darts.
Well played.
Let's throw some more darts.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to record them while we're going here.
Excellent. This is just what I want, to be held accountable again.
It's going to get ugly.
And you guys at home, you got to put your guesses into.
Okay.
We'll see if we can crowdsource the correct answer.
Do you think that there's enough errors in each direction to kind of cancel each other out?
Well, we're going to find out.
We will find out. All right. I guess closing value of the Dow Jones Industrial Average in 1 year's time.
What do we get now?
Where are we at today?
Yeah, we're
3757 is what I have now, or 37,500.
That's where
we are
now.
Is
that your prediction, or is that where we are now?
No, that's where we are today. I'm trying to help you out, Toby. Jeez.
Yeah, 37,500. Let's call it for reference today.
All right. It looks like in election years the average return is 11.3%. I'm gonna go a little under that. So I'll go right around. I'll go 40,500.
All right. I like the reasoning. Toby?
I'll take 37,500.
Stance
Unch?
pat.
I'll take Unch.
Unch. Boy, I feel like I need to bet the under a little bit just for, although I do agree with Bill's. I mean, there's
Well, go $1 above, man. Do it. It's okay. It's a game show.
Split Billy and I.
I'm going to actually take a whatever minus 5% is. I'll calculate that later. All right.
I'll note for the record that Jake is reluctantly doing this and going against what he wants to do. So
what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
No.
All right. Okay.
No. I like Bill's reasoning that like election years, you pull out all the stops. I mean, there's going to be you jam Control P as much as you can, right? But maybe that doesn't go anywhere. That's my thesis.
Well, I want $1 under 5%.
Sorry, you already locked in.
Ah,
Actually, unchanged is probably not a bad bet. What will be the total return of the S&P 500 over the next year? Almost the same question, largely.
What did I just say? I'll go with I'll go
Plus
like 9.5%.
Okay.
God, that feels high.
yeah, I'll take.
Yeah.
I'll take. Well, I'll take the under this time. I'll take 5% under.
Okay. Oof.
I'm not comfortable with this, but I'll go with it.
All right. Well, I'm going to hedge a little bit, and I'll take plus 2%. All right. 10-year Treasury. Reference today, 3.91.
I'm going 3.5.
That's a tough one.
Okay.
I mean, as opposed to the other ones, which were easy.
Yeah, other ones layups, obviously.
Because I think that what I have learned is that I have no idea.
Well, we proved that year in and year out. None of us know what we're.
I understand it for like about 15 minutes either side of the conversation, and then I forget it again, and I go back to thinking that I know what I'm doing. I'll say, yeah, I think I'm going to go 6 again.
All right.
I think that's a terrible bet, but
I'm going to go 5. All right.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Then I don't need to mess around with basis points.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Annual rate of inflation, 3.1 reference.
I'm going unch.
So wait, so 0 then, or
No,
3.1.
Oh yeah. 3.5. I think
Okay.
that's what I think we are at this level next year.
I'm going to say the stimmy starts working in an election year. So I'm going to go. I'll go same as the 10-year, 6.
I'm going back with 5 again. So basically 0 real yield on the 10-year.
Dude, there's not a chance my predictions are right. I feel like as I'm saying these, they're pretty much consensus, but maybe not.
We're going to find out.
We will find out. All right.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, 42,590 right now.
This one I got to think of. I didn't prepare for Bitcoin at all.
I know.
I'll say 42,500. 4,250. I'll say 10% of where it is.
Whoa. All right.
Such a hater.
I'm going back to 20,000.
How's that hater rate feel? I don't know. I kind of.
I mean, Bill, if you're rocking,
I'm gonna go 50,000.
All right.
I mean, I think 10 times.
God, that would be that'd be a 20% return. That would be crazy.
How you gonna have 6% rate of inflation and then Bitcoin cutting? Isn't it a store of value for inflation?
Yeah, I'm going 45,000. 45,000.
It's a tech stock.
Oh, 45,000.
Yeah, I don't want to go as high as 50. That would be, especially off this ramp. Well, you got a little consolidation. You got maybe an ascending wedge or something. And I forget what all these technical terms are, but.
All right, price of gold reference 2,057 right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna run back my 2,200 prediction.
Yeah, I'll say 2,500.
You said it's what right now?
22. Oh, I think it's 2,200. It's 2,000. 2,050, something like that.
Yeah, 2,050 is where we're at right now.
All right, so yeah, so I go like, is 2,150 too close to you guys?
No.
All
right.
If you want to be that guy, that's fine.
Sometimes I like to be touching.
All right. Price of crude oil in 1 year. Reference, it's at what, 79 right now?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say 90.
I'm gonna say 78.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the over. Crude oil, managed money shorts on oil now the highest level since the initial COVID lockdowns.
Mm.
So I'm going to take 95. I'll just take over. Take over JT.
I got 73.66 on my screen for crude. For the record. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I'm taking
yeah,
78.
you're right. Sorry, I was looking at last year's reference. 73. Correct.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm
Bill.
taking 78.
Okay. All right.
Higher than average, but not much.
Best performing major financial asset. Toby, we'll put you down for Bitcoin.
Because I've had it at 41.50, so I'm fading myself.
Yeah.
I want to blend it. I want SMID value is what I want.
Oh, please.
You could say that. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to find the answer that supports that.
I'll go mid because I don't know that I really want too
There's a mid
small.
index, right? There's a mid index.
Mid value.
S&P 400, I think, is mid.
I bet I go small. I'm going small value. That's what I gotta do it.
All right. So
S&P or Russell 2000.
We could use RZV as that one. That's
RZV.
Yeah. That's a good
God, Chinese tech. That's one that I don't want to say, but I could bet on that too.
It's not a terrible call, Billy. I like that one actually.
If you have no downside risk, that's not a bad bet. If you've got to put actual money up against it, you got to think about it a little bit more.
Got to size it right.
Yeah. Nothing here is financial advice.
Oh boy.
This show is for infotainment purposes only.
Yeah, mostly tainment, less info.
Information may not be correct.
Yeah. Toby, what are we putting down for you?
Yeah, I think it could be an inflationary year. I think it's going to be like a commodity. I think gold or silver, gold or oil rather.
Yeah.
I think gold is a better bet if it's a recessionary year, then oil gets hit too. So I'll say gold.
All right. I'm gonna run energy back again. It's kind of been left for dead this year. All right. Any other predictions that you guys want to throw in there that just for, kind of one-off bets?
Volatility, like return of the VIX.
Okay.
That'll be my VIX comes back. I think whatever happens in the election, the run up to the election is going to be
How is the VIX this low with price action this year? It doesn't make sense. There's got to be a calculation problem.
Well, it's possible that it's
people. It's based on their expectations of future volatility, right? It's like option prices, and that is forward looking.
Yeah, so it's not realized.
No,
I don't know. Something's off about the VIX. Somebody explained this to me, and I liked what I heard, so I just adopted it. Why verify?
I think last week.
What'd they say?
I don't know, but it sounded smart.
I don't know.
There was an article that said that vols, covered call type strategies, JT and I were talking about it, going from like 3 billion to 60 billion, something like that.
Dude, I don't understand these strategies. I was pitched on a covered call strategy for yield, and it's like, if I'm going to outperform the market selling calls, don't I need to have an edge on selling the calls? And if I'm just constantly doing it, aren't I bound to eventually just give up the upside for the comfort of getting some income today, which is like taxed at ordinary rates? It seems like a sucker's trade to me. Seems like a great way to lose purchasing power and feel good while you're getting relatively poor.
I think if there's a lot of speculation in the market, selling vol is a way to take advantage of that speculation. So I don't know how the 0 days to expiry option market affects everything. Like that might be, I don't know. I just have no idea. Don't know what I'm talking about, but it feels like, yes, I probably should stop there. But
No, keep going, keep
Yeah.
going. This is the tainment
I'll just
part.
hang myself.
Yeah.
Hang
This
myself.
is the tainment.
Yeah, I feel like when there was a lot of speculation around, I think you can do reasonably well selling vol in that kind of market. But then that's also a winner make a trade too if you do that in the wrong
Yeah,
way. So
well,
you
and
need to be
it's
careful.
also you want to sell it after people like I'm not gonna name the person, but I was talking to somebody. They said like the put selling, you really do well after put selling gets hammered. Right.
Yeah,
So it's the people that sell and then they get screwed and then they don't keep selling.
yeah,
Those people really get screwed. But the people that can get back on the horse and sell puts the very next month, which makes sense, right? After the catastrophe, insurance prices go up. So
I like put selling to get into long positions, but not really as a strategy. Not as a yield generating strategy, just as a way to like lower the cost basis. But then I think every time you do it, you're probably better off just being long the equity anyway, for
yeah,
tax reasons and so on.
it's kind of my sense too.
Depends a little bit though. You do get some silly volatility in some of these names.
There was a time in 2008 where you could like sell the options on GM and almost bring in the premium of the entire stock price. Like there's clearly like some times that you could do that, but I think on average I'd probably just rather be long.
I mean, any name where the floor is, 0, you sometimes I check those most, best value put sales, best value option sales. There's a few websites that track them just quantitatively, and every name in there is a name that would be either a donut or a potential double. So you're getting a big premium, but you're likely to get called on it or get it put to at 0.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make one throwaway, fun, bold prediction that's probably not going to happen, but 2024 will be the year that a black swan type of payoff profile happens and pays off. So tail risk hedge is what I'll say. We'll have a year in 2024.
To the upside, baby. The rebubble.
How long since tail risk has been
The
paid?
upside.
Did tail risk get paid in 2020? Did any
Yeah.
of the tail funds get paid in 2020?
Yeah, you don't remember these screwy articles of talking about
Goat farming,
making 4,000%
3,500%.
in a day. I love how they do these
But I don't know
calculations
if
on
that
it.
was like the vol funds have got to get their press release out by lunchtime because like sometimes it fades in the afternoon.
Right. And that's the tough thing with those VIX call options being European. Unless you just get it right on the right day, you don't get paid really.
I've held them. I've held them in size all the way to 0 on 3 different occasions. I can't do it anymore.
In the money and then not able to cash the check.
Well, I think you could sell it. You can liquidate it.
But it never moved as much as
But I just always thought it was going to go
more.
Yeah. It's such a short, like they move so much. Yeah. There's a lot of volatility in volatility, turns out.
Yeah. Bill, you want to throw one one
I don't.
parlay bet?
I don't know what I have. I don't know what I
Well, I
have.
thought the Chinese tech stocks was reasonably good. That's kind of an outside
let's put that down for you.
possibility.
Well, they're just so beaten up. It's like every day they just go lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
I mean, if Baba's cash is even remotely close to real, which I mean, they're buying shares and they're returning it in the dividend. Like I don't know. Maybe that's all just lies. But I mean, at some point this thing gets too cheap. Says the guy who always said you can't own it. This is the problem.
I mean, it is a little bit of that Benjamin Graham thought experiment of imagine this box that theoretically has cash building up inside of it, and how much would you pay for that box? you're not really sure if you can get the cash out ever necessarily. I mean, maybe Baba now with some return on capital is a little bit of a different story, but for quite a while there, a lot of these weren't that story.
Yeah, but now they're showing you they're no longer that story, right? So like slightly different.
All right, I've got a question for you.
Maybe.
What won't change next year?
Our skepticism of whether Tesla can deliver. I went to look at the Cybertruck in New York. I was will not go so far as to say that I like it, but I definitely don't hate it, which
Did you
I
see the
was
black?
surprised
See it
by.
in person?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
and I couldn't stop looking at it. It was interesting looking.
In a good way, or like when someone has like a, third eyeball?
I no, it was not as ugly as I thought it would be. I don't know that I'm going to say in a good way. I'm just going to say there's something that intrigues me about the way that it looks. I don't think people that are buying it are like, I don't think it's the Aztec. I think it looks a lot better in reality than it does in pictures. I don't think you'll see one in my driveway.
Did you see the black one?
No, I just saw a silver one.
The black one looks better than the silver one, I think.
It's kind of weird the way the metal, like it almost looks like it has curves in it, even though it's flat. But not in like a shitty way, in an interesting way. So we'll see.
There's a lot of Rivians where I am. Rivians all over the place.
Yeah, I would be more inclined to get. I just prefer the look of a Rivian to the Cybertruck.
You're gonna get the one that's got the hole where you can stick the body.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, how else are you gonna kill people and get away with it?
You chop them up first.
Well, you got a frunk for that too.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man. I don't know. I was staring at the robot too. They're on some interesting things.
Where did you see all this stuff at? Is there like
I was in New York. I walked down to the meatpacking district. Checked it out.
They have like a Tesla showroom for all that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Dimitrios Koutsoumpos says AI will expand further. Some apps will start blowing people's minds.
Well, it's got a long way to go because right now it's all hype. But I don't disagree, and I hope that's right.
I hope so too, for all of our sakes, because we need major productivity gains per capita to absorb and soak up all this extra money printing that we've been doing.
Gains.
Productivity per capita heals most sins or solves most sins.
Yeah.
Very tough, very cloudy kind of picture, I think. I mean, this is probably why you should just not pay attention to macro and just keep on buying cheap stocks and not worry about it.
I want this last half hour back of my life then.
It's a good exercise.
A lot of stuff that I've been watching has left sort of my perception of the cheap zone and is now kind of in that like not expensive range, but not cheap range. Just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
I feel like small and mid has got cheap. I feel like small and mid's got cheap this year.
A lot of that ripped. Well, a lot of what I watch ripped, but I watch a decent amount of like SMID industrials and whatnot. And they had a pretty good month last month.
Yeah. There was like 2 days.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how it happens, right?
Yeah. I was going to time
slow
it.
then quick.
I mean, that move last week was kind of amazing, like back to back giant days.
Yeah, those felt fun. I even wrote something.
Ooh.
I journalisticked about it.
What'd you say? You were impressed with your own gains?
No, I said, don't be an idiot and succumb to FOMO. Something along those lines.
Don't chase.
It's been terrible advice, though, for more than a decade now. Like, you have been paid to chase. Buy every dip. I guess that's always been the way.
Yeah. I suppose so.
I mean, if you're at all-time highs, then you should have bought every dip.
I said that I ended my note with the urge to check stocks is back. The bull market feels right here. Be careful.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's good. That's good observation.
yeah, checking stock prices again regularly. Then everyone's
Yeah,
getting a
never
little
good.
frisky.
Never good. Gotta sell.
I use Generator too. When I rebalance, I go through and I just put my own outperform, underperform market beside each little pick in there. And I've noticed that when the preceding quarter was down a lot, I'm very bearish. When the preceding quarter was up a lot, I'm a lot more optimistic. It's terrible.
That's natural.
It's real. That's just the human OS.
Yeah. It's much
It,
more
it
bullish this one.
it makes stuff like financial media a little bit disheartening when you realize how pro-cyclical it is and what the
Mm,
incentives are for clicks and shit. It's like, ugh,
yeah,
everything that's wrong is wrong and not changing.
no.
Yeah,
Except for here. But this isn't financial media, it's just tainment.
they follow. They have to follow what is hot, right? And so then that sort of amplifies it and magnifies it. The feedback loop lets everybody know
Yeah.
what's hot.
Putting the taint in taintment.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been
Built.
amazing to watch that. Like, I feel like there's been this rolling kind of bubble across lots of different stuff. I just want that rolling bubble to come in as small and micro
When's the
value.
bubble coming for you?
When is the bubble coming for small and micro value?
One bubble for daddy, one time.
One time.
I don't know. I do not know. But I think around that billion mark probably does pretty okay if it's reasonably valued here. What do I know?
You mean
It
market
doesn't
cut
seem
off?
like the rest of the world's participating in this exuberance.
No, it does not.
It's hard.
Europe's getting a little beat up. Obviously, the China and tech is China tech has been filleted.
I mean, we do have a much more dynamic economy and a lot more tools in the toolbox. Hopefully, we don't risk those tools, but I think we have those tools, so I kind of get it. But Mexico, smart ways to play Mexico is on my radar.
Mm.
I was looking at Walmax yesterday.
What
Ian
is that?
Bezick,
Is that
like
the
Walmart
Walmart of
Mexico.
Mexico?
I'm in Latin America yet, but
Yeah.
um,
I got a question here. I noticed this a little bit too. Clifford McEwen says, "Hey, what do you guys think about Fed Reserve Governor Williams saying days after Powell hinting to rate cuts next year, reversing that and saying they aren't really thinking about rate cuts?" I saw Goolsby said something similar yesterday too, where they come out and they say he was surprised by how the market reacted to the this is the thing that's hard to understand is like the rates have been raised a number of times, and really the most dovish thing they've done is not raise. And that was the thing that sent markets off into like absolute stratosphere. And so then all the Fed board members had to come out and like the Fed governors had to come out and tamp it down a bit, get the cold spoon out.
I don't know if it even matters what they're doing when you're running 10%
The
budget
stimmy
deficits. I mean, that's hugely stimulative. Who gives a shit what the Fed's doing if the Treasury, US government is just printing money ad infinitum?
isn't limitless. Like it's the Austrians and anybody who like pretends to be, I don't know, sensible,
S-
sort of kind of a loaded word,
Sane.
saying. But it just seems like we've been doing it forever. Like, why would we stop now?
it's good to be an Austrian and also be a value investor because I feel like it hedges you. Because I do think this stimulus helps value stocks on average.
More than the higher
Really?
Then growth,
multiples.
You,
yeah,
you
I
don't think,
do.
you think, I don't know. I have to think
A
more
lot of them are
shows up in
capital.
VC world. Like,
You think because
Oh,
it
I
goes
don't
into
know.
steel and because they're using it in infrastructure, so it goes into steel and to all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think you get like a lot more push in the low valuation stocks than I think ZERP maybe helps VC
VC.
more than stimulus helps VC.
Yeah, I don't
Be
know.
my resting hypothesis, bound to be wrong.
Here's another one. Trevor Milton got 4 years. How do you guys feel about that? Does he like? Is he? How much money's he got? Is it worth it?
Well, it depends if you get raped. I don't mean to say it that way, but it's true. If I'm like at a like kind of so-so prison for 4 years.
Country
And
club.
Let me
yeah,
reframe. Let me reframe. I was being a little bit flippant in the way that I presented that, but let me reframe to what it actually meant. Is 4 years enough of a deterrent if you walk away with whatever he's walked away with? I don't know if he's made any sales or he's had to disgorge it all, but
I think it depends on where you're going. I think if you're going to like a country club-ish prison, which according to the authority on this is Office Space, the movie, that doesn't exist.
Federal
So,
pound me in the
yeah. So if you end up in like the bad kind of prison, no, I probably don't think it's worth it. Then again, depends where you came from and what you really want. I mean, if you walk away with $1 billion, that's real
Creeley
money.
seemed like he came out. He didn't seem too traumatized.
Who? Yeah,
Scarelli.
Skrelly. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's yeah.
I mean, he had
I'm
time
not trying to go
take,
to prison.
he had time to take shots at TC and
Did he?
oh yeah. You didn't
don't you
see-
remember we reviewed the book?
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. Who's this Tobias Carlisle character?
I mean,
And whoever he
Jesus.
is, this
Interesting.
that's how when we knew TC had arrived.
I thought he arrived before
Horrifying.
that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The line between fraud and success seems pretty thin at times. That was clearly a fraud.
I mean,
But-
a lot of the entrepreneurs are, that fake it till you make it
Yeah. Optimistic.
idea is like that's
For
like
real.
that's expected, right? That you're supposed to sort of pretend like you're a little bit bigger. Like there's plenty of stories about people hiring temps to come into the office to make it look more busy when VCs or
Well,
whatever show up.
Look, even the people that I take a little bit of offense to the listener that commented that says that we're like really closed-minded about Tesla. I think I will agree that we are somewhat closed-minded about the stock. I don't agree that we're closed-minded about like what might be possible for Elon to pull off. I do think even the people that really like Tesla should be able to acknowledge that Elon says things at times that I think border the line of puffery and straight up lying. I mean, I don't think that that's a particularly controversial thing to say. But like if the results end up there, it's not fraud, right? I don't know the line. Sometimes it's bizarre.
No, it is. I mean, what's the real difference between rolling a truck down a hill and having tiles on the roof that are like not real,
real.
and
Yeah, I mean, I think one comes to like more fruition than the other.
yeah.
I mean, it's probably
I think it's the
given
result.
enough time
I
they were
really
going to
kind
make
of
that
do.
that truck was going to work. Given enough time, right? They were going to come up with a working truck.
Yeah, probably Elizabeth
Enough money
Holmes
and
would
enough
have
time.
also come up with something eventually.
I think there's like a physics problem for her. I think there's some like you need more blood. I don't think that was ever going to get there.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
You roll the
truck,
test tubes down the hill, Toby. This is like it's basic gravity.
I think the problem that she had very early on, I read one of the stories. I think I read one of the books where it said she presented it to one of her lecturers, one of her professors, and the professor was just like, no, this is bullshit. It doesn't work. It's impossible. That was always going to be impossible.
That's what they told the Wright brothers too, Toby.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, that's fair. Something heavier than air can't fly. That's true. Never say never.
I mean, here's my question for the Tesla folks. And you guys can play along. Is there a company that has any more key man risk than that company?
Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess there's a lot because you're saying because there's a lot of speculative value in Tesla. There's a lot of speculative bloat or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even frame it that way. I would say a lot of future growth you have to believe in. And I don't think that there are that many managers that can deliver that kind of growth. And what he has delivered is an N of one thus far. But to the extent that recruiting engineers that are dedicated to the best research in the atomic world, for lack of a better term, because it seems like a lot of people go to digital, you know, how much of that is dependent upon him being there and motivating the organization. And I don't know. It's just like that DealBook interview. I don't care at all about the fuck the advertisers thing. I don't think that's the story. The tell it to earth stuff was weird to me. And I don't know, man. He's talked about doing ketamine before. It makes me uncomfortable. It's fine.
Ketamine sponsors freeways out here. Ketamine treatment sponsor the freeways out here.
Well, I would be concerned about that.
You drive down the road, there's ads and like tied, we pick up the trash along this stretch of sponsored by ketamine treatment centers.
Really?
Yeah.
It's mainstream. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
How real is that robot?
I guess the alternative is, people will probably say, well, what's that different than a prescription drug? I don't know the answers.
I think it is prescription.
I'm just saying. Okay, well, there you go. It's just
Mike, let me ask, how real is that Tesla? Like, it's hard to tell how real that Tesla robot is, because clearly when they announced it was a person in a suit, and then they showed this pretty.
Yeah, I didn't watch the announcement.
You didn't see the guy's belly button poking out in the.
I tell you, the robot in the New York store, it looks cool. I did not watch it do things. I did not, I don't know. I mean, Tesla Q would probably tell you it's not real at all. The Tesla Bulls will tell you that it's completely real. It's probably somewhere in between.
That's the whole point, though. But then the things that are in between, it's hard to say, like, where do you tip into nefarious?
But I gotta. So this is just to compare Trevor Milton's experience, Nikola's experience with Tesla. So they produced this robot that's a person in a suit. And then the next thing you see is it's this pretty rudimentary robot that's no more advanced than, anything. It's nothing like the Honda robot or anything like that, not that far down the track. And then the next one that I saw, it was one robot handing another robot a gun, and it was shooting up the Tesla Cybertruck. Yeah. Was that real, cool? Or was that CGI? Like, that's the thing. I don't know how much of this stuff is real and how much of it's CGI. Like, now they look pretty advanced. That's an extraordinary rate of growth in a year. If that's real, then that's amazing. If it's not, then what are we doing here?
I think it might be real. I also think it may not be as real as people think. But I guess
there's a big difference, though, between programming a robot to follow like a set of instructions and then it having like more autonomy to decide, hand me the gun now and aim here. Yeah. And, I mean, those are.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about the Cybertruck, and he said that the shame of the Cybertruck is that the way that it looks has taken away from the engineering feat that it actually is. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not competent to talk about
pulling
that.
Power or something like that.
Well, the turning radius is super tight, and they went with I don't know, whatever, bigger cable. I don't know exactly what they did, but he was telling me, and I do trust that he knows what he's talking about, because he covers autos, and I just think it's going to be interesting to see what that company can pull off. I think it is not impossible that they pull off what the Bulls may think that they pull off. I just,
well, you have.
I don't know why people care.
This price.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but like, it's clearly not something that the three of us are gonna like own, right? It's not our type of.
I mean, maybe at the right price.
Yeah, at $2 a share.
There's a price. It's not.
I kid, folks. I kid. Jeez.
No, it's more like 30. It's more like 30, something like that.
Samson out here sending me death threats.
He'll let us know after the fact.
Samson's been very good about not being gloaty about it.
Yeah, and a guy like that, I think, I from how long has he owned that thing?
At least since we've been doing this show.
Yeah, so I hope he wins. Like, I root for people like that. He's got this vision, and I hope he's right. It just doesn't have to be for me. Different strokes for different folks. It's fine.
Billy, did you go to, what were you in New York for? MOI?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good, man. Peter Keefe was interviewed, and I got to talk to him a bit. He's a cool dude. And Phil Ordway interviewed Mabosen. That was kind of a fun interview. Phil is a great person to do that.
Yeah, he's really funny. His dry sense of humor always cracks me up.
Yeah, and he's an incredible teacher in his own right. Um, Will Thompson highlighted a mining family that I tweeted out, but I can't remember right now. They're a pretty cool family.
Hmm.
And then Elliot Turner interviewed Mario Sabelli. They talked about small cap some. So it was a good day, and I had a great time seeing folks. It was a busy 3 days. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. I would not recommend that.
Uh-oh, there goes our sponsorship.
Yeah, well, oh well.
Yeah, I think I stayed at a holiday in Omaha for a shareholder meeting a few years ago, and there were all of these signs up about human trafficking in there. So
Hmm.
I didn't have any of those, so I had that going for me. But like the reviews are like clean and modern. I was like, all right, sweet. I got there. It was neither clean nor modern. So I wrote a less stellar review. Not a horrible one though, but not stellar.
how about Twitter? Musk has bitten off a lot with Tesla, Boring Company, and so on. Is Twitter going to make it? Like I see that advertising's down a lot. What
No,
what's
I have no
what
idea.
you guys? Bill, you
I,
use it.
I don't know why you would ever want to own a social media platform. It is the single best way to get hated. It's insane to me. And I know
Yeah,
people will be like, "Oh, for free speech." Okay,
yeah. History is pretty replete with successful businessmen buying newspapers,
Yeah.
different mouthpieces, to help control the narrative, and it's kind of been a time-honored tradition, actually. So I'm not
Do you
tired.
control it with? Do you control Twitter? Does any? I guess you do. I guess there is some control there.
You can nudge policies, right?
Yeah, that's
the
probably fair.
Twitter files would argue there's a ton of control there.
But what does
Now
Musk
it's
have
out of the government and into
beyond
the
owning
people.
it? Beyond owning it, like he already had the biggest Twitter account on there, right? Like him and Kim Kardashian, and he had that for free. Like you don't have to lose money in that.
Yeah, he want. I mean, I suppose he has a principled stand on what he thinks about free speech.
I can respect that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be an LP.
No. Yeah, what's Larry Ellison? What's he's in for $1 billion in there, I think.
That's what I saw. Yeah,
Mhm.
you can afford to lose it. That's a nice life.
Yeah.
That's pretty
But
wild.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for everybody tuning in this year. Grateful to chat to you guys repeatedly. Kept us all sane, kept me sane. It's been a
Yeah.
pretty wacky few years.
It's an honor and a privilege to be able to chat every week with you guys and then have some people listen in on occasion.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for allowing me to come back. I know I was Brad at times. Sorry about that. But you
Nah.
know,
As long as you come wearing that suit every time, there's no
Yeah.
I
problem.
will not promise. That I will not promise. Probably through February though.
You got to get your money's worth out of it.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Hopefully this Christmas people spend time thinking about what matters. And
Value
if you are
resurgence.
Jewish, hopefully you did it over Hanukkah and celebrate with us. The more the merrier.
Yeah, I hope
But
everyone has a peaceful and safe as much as they can holiday season. World feels a touch more wobbly than it did, especially probably pre-pandemic. But I hope,
dude, there's such sorrow out there. So sad. So to be here,
yeah,
feel very, very fortunate.
indeed.
Here's to a big value resurgence in 2024.
Here's to closing that value gap.
You're talking about
It's
the value
it's been
investors, right?
closing. It has been closing since like what 2021. It's been
Yeah, I think late 2020. It's been getting a
kind
little
of
bit better.
It
A
blew
little bit of
back
a
out a little
tailwind.
bit though, didn't it,
Yeah,
TC?
it did. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have
I
nice
I
things for
don't
two.
understand some of these valuations. I do not get it. I felt like we just learned a lesson in 2021, but apparently we're going back to learning it again.
We'll find out.
And the lesson, by the way, is hop on the growth train. but I will not be doing that. So expect to hear years of underperformance out of me.
All right, thanks, amigas. We'll see you in the new year.
Take care. Shout out to the 9.